Lochinvar, written by Walter Scott. Sir Walter Scott was a novelist, poet, and playwright. He wrote and popularized historical novels. He held aloft virtues of equality and tolerance in his literary works. His works, set against the backdrop of Scottish history, depict the clashes between Scottish and English cultures. The poem Lochinvar. O young Lochinvar is come out of the west. Through all the wide border his steed was the best, and save his good broad word, he weapons had none. He rode all unarmed, and he rode all alone. So faithful in love and so dauntless in war, there never was knight like the young Lochinvar. He stayed not for brake, and he stopped not for stone. He swam the Esk river where ford there was none. But never he alighted at Netherby gate. The bride had consented, the gallant came late. For a laggard in love and a dastard in war was to wed the fair Ellen of brave Lochinvar. So boldly he entered the Netherby hall among bridesmen and kinsmen and brothers and all. Then spoke the bride's father, his hand on his sword. For the poor craven bridegroom said never a word. Oh, come ye in peace here, or come ye in war, or to dance at our bridal, young Lord Lochinvar. I long wooed your daughter, my suit you denied. Love swells like the Solway, but ebbs like its tide. And now I am come with this lost love of mine to lead but out one measure, drink one cup of wine. There are maidens in Scotland more lovely by far that would gladly be bride to the young Lochinvar. The bride kissed the goblet, the knight took it up. He quaffed of the wine and he threw down the cup. She looked down to blush and she looked up to sigh, with a smile on her lips and a tear in her eye. He took her soft hand, never her mother could bar. Now tread we a measure, said young Lochinvar. So stately his form and so lovely her face, that never a hall such a galliard did grace. While her mother did fret and her father did fume, and the bridegroom stood dangling his bonnet and plume, and the bright maidens whispered, "'Twere better by far to have matched our fair cousin with young Lochinvar." One touch to her hand and one word in her ear, when they reached the hall door and the charger stood near. So light to the crop the fair lady he swung, so light to the saddle before her he sprung. She is won, we are gone over bank, bush, and square. They will have fleet steeds that follow, quoth young Lochinvar. There was mounting Mong Gramius of the Netherby clan, Frosters, Frankwick, and Musgraves, they rode and they ran. There was racing and chasing on Cannobie Lee, but the lost bride of Netherby never did they see, so daring in love and so dauntless in war. Have ye ever heard of gallant like young Lochinvar? The poem starts with an interjunction O in order to show the Lochinvar's power and might. He came out of the west on a very good horse. He rode all alone and was unarmed, fearless, and was very fond in love and war. He swam across the Esk River and was heading towards the Netherby Hall, where his love, Ellen, was about to marry by a man who was a laggard in love and a dastard in war. Lochinvar entered the Netherby Hall. All of Ellen's relatives and kinsmen were gathered there for the wedding ceremony. Ellen's father asked three questions to Lochinvar, that is, whether he came there in peace or for having a war or to dance at their bridal. But Lochinvar replied that he had come there only for having 1 cup of wine. And he also added that there are many maidens in Scotland who would be glad to be the bride to the young Lochinvar. Then the poem turns to a dramatic one. The bride Ellen kissed the cup of wine, and the Lochinvar took it up and drank the wine and threw the cup away. After that, both of them, that is Lochinvar and Ellen, began to dance together. Ellen's mother was frightened, her father was angry, and the groom stood there helpless. The bridesmaidens whispered each other that Lochinvar and Ellen was perfectly matched. Then Lochinvar eloped with Ellen on his fast-paced horse. The Netherby clans chase them but find no trace of the couples. Likewise, Lochinvar got his love back.